It's one of the classics of American music, and Rhapsody in Blue is marking a major milestone. David Pogue does the honors.
Chances are pretty good that you know this piece. And your parents, too. And probably your grandparents. It's Rhapsody in Blue, a piece for piano and orchestra, about 17 minutes long, written by George Gershwin when he was 25 years old. This year, musicians all over the world are celebrating its 100th birthday. From Carnegie Hall to the Hollywood Bowl.
So this is the first printing of Rhapsody in Blue that is autographed by George, of which there are, I believe, only 3 or maybe 4 in existence.
Should you be touching it?
Well, for you, I'm touching it.
Pianist, singer, and Gershwin expert Michael Feinstein once spent 6 years working for George Gershwin's brother, Ira. Few know the Rhapsody story as well as he does.
It was created as a piece of special material, if you will, for the Paul Whiteman Orchestra.
In 1924, jazz band leader Paul Whiteman advertised a concert of music that would combine classical and jazz influences. He announced that the concert would feature a new piece by George Gershwin. Unfortunately, he'd forgotten to tell George Gershwin.
Gershwin read an article in a New York newspaper saying that George Gershwin is going to write a concert piece. Oh, and he calls up Whiteman and said, "What is this?" And Whiteman said, "Well, will you do it?" And he said, "I'll try."
Gershwin wrote Rhapsody in Blue for 2 pianos. He finished it in about 3 weeks.
Faraday Grofe did the orchestration.
Arranger Faraday Grofe hastily adapted it for Whiteman's jazz band. The room was hot and the concert was long. Rhapsody in Blue was the 25th piece out of 26. But just as audience members were starting to leave,
this strikingly handsome guy with jet black hair confidently walks to the piano, sits down, and people are going, what's going on?
It was Gershwin himself at the piano, sounding like this from a recording he made a few months later. Nobody filmed that world premiere, but on February 12th of this year, 100 years to the day after the original performance,
welcome to 1924.
Conductor and clarinetist Luis Arquez recreated the original concert. Same musical numbers, same instrumentation, in the same building.
We tried not only to recreate the music that was played here 100 years ago, we tried to recreate as much as we could of the look. Myself, I had to shave quite a big beard, get the mustache and the little curly Q in the hair.
The audiences of 1924 loved Rhapsody in Blue, but not all of the critics were convinced.
It was almost considered by the critics to be a sort of stunt. You can't dance to it because it had all these different tempo changes. And who was going to play it in the concert hall because it was written for a dance band?
It's not a classical piece, it's not a jazz piece. Why don't we just call it, it's a great piece.
Concert pianist Jean-Yves Thibaudet has performed Rhapsody in Blue over 100 times.
It's almost like a big improvisation. He just came up with those beautiful themes, and then he just put them together.
You could probably hum along with those themes.
Well, I think that was one of them, right? It's just such, lyrical. It's just unbelievable. And then you have a word.
Within a year of its premiere, Rhapsody in Blue had been published, recorded, and arranged for more traditional orchestras. and it's been a fixture of American culture ever since.
Every time you see a scene where there's a New York skyline, you hear somebody copying Rhapsody in Blue. So the effect of Rhapsody in Blue, culturally, is that he created the sound that is the essence of New York.
Of course, millions of people know Rhapsody in Blue not from the concert hall, but from the United Airlines ads.
He never wanted it commercialized. It wasn't until Ira passed away in 1983, shortly thereafter, I don't even know if his body was cold, that the family sold Rhapsody for use by United Airlines and for other commercial purposes. But actually, it hasn't negatively affected the piece because it's bulletproof.
Rhapsody in Blue was George Gershwin's first major work, and it helped to bring him fame, popularity, and wealth for the rest of his much too short career. He died of a brain tumor at age 38. In 2020, the copyright on Rhapsody in Blue expired. So, for the next 100 years and beyond, it belongs to us all.